Dobry wieczór. Tutaj William. Witajcie na tygodniowym podsumowaniu Polski wiadomości ze mną, Williamem Murphy. Witam was bardzo serdecznie. Our main news stories this week have included: Poland maintains its position on cohesion funding as the Brussels summit fails to agree on the 2021 to 2027 EU budget. Ambassador Sochanska rejects an Irish Times editorial labelling Poland an authoritarian regime and emphasises Polish support for further EU expansion. There is concern in Northern Ireland over the impact of the proposed new UK immigration rules, and an opinion poll shows Andrzej Duda facing a tightening presidential race. The EU's Brussels summit at the end of last week on the bloc's 7-year budget for 2021 to 2027, not unexpectedly, failed to reach agreement. Taoiseach Leo Varadkar joined the discussions late last Thursday evening, after the series of Dáil votes on the election of a new Taoiseach, which of course saw no one elected. At the summit, compromise proposals from the EU Commission on the size of the budget failed to satisfy either the so-called Frugal Four of Austria, Denmark, the Netherlands and Sweden, or the Friends of Cohesion group, which includes Poland. It provided for expenditure of €5 billion less than that proposed by the President of the Council. The Frugal Four, who want to keep the budget capped at 1% of the bloc's GDP, viewed the reduction as too little, while the cut was rejected by those states keen to protect the size of the budget. Brexit has left a €75 billion gap in the 7-year budget. Speaking after the meeting, Prime Minister Morawiecki said that Poland could not accept cuts to the planned budget, stating that "We have to point out where funds should really be directed, where they are most needed to balance the level of development, and so they should go to Poland, to Central Europe. And looking at this from such a perspective, I think that her arguments are heard loud and clear." The budget talks will remain ongoing, although no date for a fresh summit has yet been set. The Polish ambassador to Ireland, Anna Sochanska, responded strongly in the letters page of Friday's Irish Times to an editorial in the same publication earlier in the week entitled "The Irish Times View on EU Enlargement, Keep the Door Open," in which Poland and Hungary were described as authoritarian regimes. The subject of the editorial was the need for the EU to progress membership negotiations with Albania and North Macedonia. In the course of its argument, it referenced the objection to proceeding with accession talks for both countries by President Macron, and to his argument that the EU needs to reform its policies and institutions before admitting new members. It said there was merit in his concerns, including about granting new members full EU rights from day one, with no way to address subsequent backsliding, stating that, quote, "Ongoing rows with the authoritarian regimes in Poland and Hungary have given added force to the argument that the EU needs new ways to enforce observance of core values." In her response, the ambassador outlined Poland's strong record of support for further expansion of the EU in the Western Balkans, and referenced Poland's defence of one of the EU's longest external borders and participation in EU and NATO overseas missions, before noting that labelling Poland an authoritarian regime does not seem just an objective. In a newspaper interview published on Tuesday, the US ambassador to Poland, Georgette Mosbacher, said that she believes the EU has not shied away from using the question of the rule of law in Poland for its own ends, and that the issue is strongly politicised. She said that some in the West do not necessarily feel comfortable that Poland, as a rapidly developing, well-educated country, is a strong competitor for the rest of Europe, having been relegated to the periphery of Europe during the communist period. President Andrzej Duda may be facing a stiffer re-election challenge than foreshadowed by earlier opinion polls, which had given him a wide lead, going on the results of the latest survey from pollster Ipsos published on Monday. The incumbent remains favoured to win a second term, but by a narrow margin in the second ballot, against any one of a number of opposition candidates. The poll has Duda leading his most likely second round opponent, Małgorzata Kidawa-Błońska, by 48% to 46%. He'd defeat both Szymon Hołownia and Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz by a 47% to 45% margin. However, he decisively defeat Robert Biedroń. In the first round, the survey shows Duda leading with 41% support, followed by Kudawa-Błąska on 25%, Robert Biedron on 9%, Szymon Hołownia and Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz both on 7%, and Konfederacja's Krzysztof Bosak on 5%. The first round of the contest takes place on Sunday, May 10th. Concern has been expressed over the likely impact on the availability of labour in Northern Ireland of the UK's proposed new immigration rules, announced on Tuesday of last week. Immigrant communities, including from Poland, have provided much of the labour force in particular segments of the economy in recent years. Under the plans, only skilled immigrants with at least 70 points would be eligible to apply for a visa to enter the UK. It will be essential for overseas applicants to have a job offer at an appropriate skill level from an approved sponsor, and to speak English at the required level. These necessary criteria would gain 50 points, with potential immigrants able to gain the extra points needed by their proposed job earning over £25,600 per annum, by having a PhD in a STEM subject, or by having an offer of a job in the sector in which the UK has a labour shortage. Organisations representing employers in sectors such as tourism and agriculture have expressed concern that the new system will cause existing labour sources to dry up. Supporters of the measures, announced by UK Home Secretary Priti Patel, claim they'll force employers to look harder for suitable local candidates and lead to more training and employment opportunities for currently marginalised members of society. On Tuesday, the Central Statistical Office reported that unemployment rose from 5.2% in December to 5.5% in January, in line with an earlier estimate by Deputy Labour Minister Stanisław Szwed. He said earlier this month that January is the most difficult month when it comes to seasonal or occasional work, and that he expects the rate to fall in the coming months. Meanwhile, employers have expressed concern at the length of time it takes for foreigners to obtain work permits. They believe Poland could lose out on Ukrainian and other foreign workers to countries that offer shorter waiting periods and pay higher wages. The head of the employers' body, Konfederacja Lewiatan, Grzegorz Baszewski, said that, sadly, the waiting time to obtain a residence or work permit is tremendous. It's definitely much longer than it should be. This encourages workers to go illegal. The controversy surrounding Marian Banish, the President of the Supreme Audit Office, rumbles on. Following searches on Wednesday of last week at 20 locations by officers of the Central Anti-Corruption Bureau, undertaken at the request of the Regional Prosecutor's Office in Wojciech, investigating his personal assets and tax declarations, Banish requested an immediate meeting with Sejm Speaker Elżbieta Witek. The CBA also entered the headquarters of the Supreme Audit Office in Warszawa. Banish called the actions illegal and a violation of the constitutional independence of the Supreme Audit Office. The meeting between Banish and Witek took place on Friday, after which she said she couldn't intervene in the matter, as the constitution and legislation only allows the Sejm Speaker to intervene if the personal integrity of a Sejm deputy or NIK president has been violated, or when they're arrested. She said that in this case, no such situation has taken place, and therefore I couldn't have intervened in any way regarding this matter. Last Friday, it was reported that a Canadian mining company has discovered large deposits of silver and copper in western Poland. The CEO of Midst Copper Corporation said that the value of what lies underground is $60 billion. He said that the find could contribute over 1 billion zloty to government revenues per annum and create 8,600 jobs. The company, assuming it overcomes various obstacles along the way, plans to start building a mine in 2024 to 25. On Tuesday, 7 people were charged in Gdansk over alleged offences including negligence and endangering of participants as part of the organisation of the grand finale of the Great Orchestra of Christmas Charity in the city in 2019, during which Mayor Paweł Adamowicz was fatally stabbed. The accused comprised 2 police officers, a municipal official, 2 security workers and 2 people from the Regional Volunteer Centre. On Tuesday, President Duda signed into law the bill for the so-called 13th pension, providing an additional month's pension to old-age pensioners every year. The payment, worth 1,200 zloty this year, was previously only approved on a year-by-year basis. Also on Tuesday, the government approved giving effect to Prawo i Sprawiedliwości's election promise to award pensioners a second monthly bonus payment at the end of 2021. Prime Minister Morawiecki held consultations with provincial authorities on Monday to coordinate efforts to deal with any possible outbreak of the coronavirus in Poland. He claimed that the country is well prepared, saying, "Poland has labs ready to use in screening. 2 labs are now operating and a further 6 are being launched just in case." The Polish consulate in Milan has warned Polish people in Italy to avoid public spaces, where possible, amid fears about the spread of the disease in the country. On Tuesday, Health Minister Łukasz Szumowski said that coronavirus cases would certainly occur in Poland sooner rather than later. Tavshesku na Czemczydzin. Zapraszam na kolejny podsumowanie Czechijn o tym samym proje. Dobranoc.